Live every day as if it were the last, because before you know it, time goes past and life's just not that long. Tell all you love that you love them so, because even if you do, they might not know, and one day we'll all be gone.
Nehemiah Griego was a severely abused 15-year-old. Nehemiah murdered his mother, dad, 2 younger sisters, 1 younger brother, January 18th, 2013, in Albuquerque's South Valley. After being arrested, Nehemiah did very well in juvenile detention here in Albuquerque from 15 to 21 years old. His aunt and uncle had offered to pay for his treatment at an adult treatment center in Houston after he left juvenile detention. And that treatment center had already accepted him. But tragically, the judge, a woman judge here, sent him to prison instead of adult treatment. I read now from my June 20th, 2022 letter to the judge. I received no reply from the judge. I'm a 76-year-old longtime activist on many concerns. I'm deeply indebted to a great variety of people who have loved me, taught me, inspired me. I'm writing to you concerning Nehemiah Griego. See the photo of him with article, June 17th, 2022, Albuquerque Journal, pages 7 and 8. Have you ever seen a photo of anyone appearing more hopeless and tormented in hell? I commend the excellent front page column, March 26, 2022, in the Albuquerque Journal, by Jolene Gutierrez Kruger about Nehemiah and his aunt Regina Griego. I urge you to read Regina's heart-wrenching book, Sins of the System, Trauma, Guns, Tragedy, and the Betrayal of Our Children. The local library has 5 copies. If my dad had often beaten me at least once to unconsciousness with possible brain injury, if my mother had told me, I wish we lived in biblical times so I could stone you to death, if I had been forbidden to have friends outside of church, if our home had had many guns, if my dad had taught me to be tough and had glorified being a soldier, if I had often suffered hunger with not enough to eat, if my dad had made me patrol our high-walled compound several hours a day, might I, at 15, have felt hopelessly trapped and exploded in evil rage? None of us, including you and me, can say for sure if we had suffered the severe abuse Nehemiah did, we would not have done the evil he did. No one is born evil. We all are very influenceable from the moment we are born. None of us chose the family we were born into. When Nehemiah was in juvenile detention, he went from 3rd grade reading level when arrested at 15 to getting his GED, taking college courses, reading a lot. He wanted someday to help other abused kids heal from their abuse. He got along well with staff and with other kids there. Regina and other relatives had offered an alternative to prison, a public adult treatment center, mental health co-op in Houston, and were willing to pay for that. The center had already accepted him. Now, in a North Carolina prison, he has been stabbed 8 times so far. He is scared to death. How would you have wanted a judge to decide if Nehemiah had been your beloved nephew or cousin? I spoke in 2019 before the City Council and the County Commission. I urged treatment for Nehemiah, not prison. We all are more than the worst thing we ever did. June 25th, 1976, my grandparents, 85 and 82 years old, were murdered in bed by an abused white youth, Dale, 18 years old, in rural Illinois. Years later, Dale was arrested and pled guilty. The jail chaplain told me Dale was coming to services, so I thought Dale might be truly repentant for his crime. I wrote him, offering my forgiveness. The first time I visited Dale in prison, tears came to his eyes. He appreciated my forgiveness and friendship. I have 60 letters he wrote me before he killed himself in prison. He had wanted to get out someday and prove to people he could live a changed life. He published sincere letters of apology in 2 area newspapers. But he suffered severe depression, haunted by flashbacks of his crime. Imagine if many U.S. presidents and generals publicly repented for murdering grandparents and kids in U.S. wars. Memory is the worst punishment for anyone with a conscience. Our conscience is turned on by being loved. A public defender I spoke with had become a close friend to Nehemiah and strongly wanted treatment for him, not prison. Nehemiah is 25, and if he lives, will not be eligible for parole until 52. 27 years, more years than he has lived. Do you, and I'm speaking in this letter to the woman judge who sent him to prison, do you regret sending Nehemiah to prison instead of adult treatment in Houston? Even if you cannot legally undo the severe harm you have done to Nehemiah, are you willing to make a sincere public apology to Nehemiah and his faithful friend and guardian, Regina? If I had my life to live over, knowing what I know now, I would aim to do many things differently. This is from my letter that I wrote June 22nd, 2022 to the woman judge who sent him to prison. I received no reply. Today is mine, tomorrow may not come. I may not see the rising of the sun. When evening falls, my life may all be done. Today is mine, tomorrow may not come. Today is mine to cry and dance and hug, to forgive, ask forgiveness, and make love. Our lives are short. Treasure every friend we have. Today is mine, tomorrow may not come. One day, years after my mother died, I was working at our family hog and cattle market in Illinois. A young, shirt-free, very attractive white farmer came to do business. And after he left, I told my dad, just my dad and I were there in the office, I would love to fuck with him. If you have sons or daughters, do they feel free to be open with you about their sexual attractions to someone, as I was with my dad that day? My dad told me, you better not let your brother hear that. I think I then told my dad, sometimes the person putting down being gay is fighting their own gay feelings. My only brother, we had no sisters, strongly condemns sex and romance between men. He strongly opposes being naked. He is strongly against dancing. I love to dance to beautiful music, not just any music. As far as I know, I'm the most well-known openly gay man and nudist in this city. My brother and I have some contact through letters and phone calls. I thank him and his wife for being honest and dependable in settling up our dad's estate after Dad died many years ago. I would like to be close friends with my brother, who's 89. In spite of our huge differences, I would like to be close friends with him. I realize that may never happen. If I had stayed living in that mostly white farming community, as my brother has, if I had not had the great variety of many, many people in different states who have taught me, loved me, inspired me, I might have been as closed-minded and emotionally constipated as my brother, or worse. I am deeply indebted to a great variety of many people who've loved me, taught me, inspired me. And one of my favorite stories is about how lonely, stingy, miserable, selfish Scrooge woke up and changed. He became generous and friendly. He was a very late bloomer But he changed. I was a very late bloomer romantically. When I graduated from high school, I did not know I'm gay. I did not know millions of men for thousands of years around the world have been strongly sexually attracted to men and have enjoyed sex and romance with men, even though many or most of them also strongly enjoyed sex and romance with women. In my 20s, I began to know about men attracted to men, but I was afraid of losing many male friends that I had if I came out as a gay man. I never had sex with any male in my life, not as a boy with boys, any male, until I was 31. A young Chicano artist from Cuba, New Mexico, sucked my cock. And weeks later, a young man fucked me for my first time. He was a master fucker. He took his time instead of quickly forcing his way in. I wish every man in the world being fucked for the first time or the 100th time or the 1000th time had a master fucker as I had that night. It was wonderful and so different from what many men have suffered when men painfully raped them in prison or in war. And years later, I met a man here downtown. We went down by the river. He fucked me, but it was not a good experience. I think he had been drinking booze. And when people drinking booze have sex, they often are not interested much in giving pleasure to the other person, but mainly on their own pleasure, regardless what the other person is feeling. I learned never to have sex with anyone who is drinking booze. Thousands die every year in the United States from medications given as prescribed in hospitals. Thousands die every year in the United States from receiving the wrong medication by mistake. We all make mistakes. Thousands die every year in the United States from other hospital mistakes. Thousands die every year in the United States from infections these people got as hospital patients. Thousands die every year in the United States from surgeries that were not needed. Medical treatment is the third leading cause of death in the United States. The third leading cause of death in the United States, medical treatment. So do your damnedest to eat and to live healthy every day. And even if my medical insurance paid every penny of my hospital and doctor bill, I do not want to go again to any hospital the rest of my life, if possible, to avoid it. But I can never say for sure. Smart scientists spend years researching to find new drugs to prevent and treat cancer, COVID, many other diseases. Sadly, most of these smart scientists know little or nothing about the marvelous healing powers of garlic, hot chili pepper, ginger, and many other herbs, and of sunshine, piss drinking, used in many cultures for hundreds or thousands of years for healing. Follow the money. Garlic, hot chili pepper, ginger, many other healing herbs, sunshine, piss drinking will not make billions of dollars for the legal drug pushers, the huge corporations. To prevent and treat cancer, eat nothing containing added sugar. Sugar makes cancer grow faster. Nothing containing cow's milk. The high casein in cow's milk makes cancer grow faster at every stage. The casein in cow's milk does not cause the cancer, but if you have cancer in your body, and some people may have it rather dormant in the body for many years, not even know it. The casein in cow's milk, in ice cream, milk, cheese, can make cancer grow faster at every stage. Stop eating all sugar shit and junk food. Many questions about the 14-year-old white boy, Colt, in Georgia, who murdered 2 teachers, 2 students. And many questions about his father and his mother. Was 14-year-old Colt put down, bullied by other boys because they thought he looked like a girl? How did Colt's father become addicted to guns? Was Colt's father's father in love with guns? Had Colt's father been a soldier? Did Colt's father believe if Colt shot guns, that would make a man out of him? Why did Colt's father celebrate his son killing his first deer with the deer's blood on Colt's face? Crazy. Why did Colt's father call that day the greatest day ever? Did other boys call Colt a sissy? Did any teachers at Colt's school see how other boys were bullying Colt? Did they try to stop it? Did Colt's mother know what Colt was suffering inside? Was she close to Colt, even though she was separated from Colt's father? Did his mother sense he was almost ready to explode in rage? Did Colt have any teenage close friends? Did Colt have any adult close friends he confided in? Why did Colt's father give his 14-year-old son a semi-automatic AR-15 rifle? Did Colt's father think Colt might become a school shooter? Did Colt's father think he also could face murder charges if Colt murdered people at school? Did Colt's mother or father or anyone hug Colt warmly and often? I repeat that question. Did Colt's mother or father or anyone hug Colt warmly and often? Did Colt play violent video games? Did Colt and his father watch violent movies, horror movies? Do you and I see teenagers here and now suffering hell inside who are on the edge of committing awful violence? Men, do you have close men friends you open your heart to about your fears, your failures, your deepest concerns? Men, do you have close men friends who know the worst about you and are still your friends? Sadly, for many men, their friendships with other men are just about doing stuff together, drinking booze, or playing poker, or playing ball, or hunting, or fishing. Many women's friendships with other women go much deeper, sharing the precious and the painful inside them. Little girls can walk to school hand in hand. Little girls can freely hug and cry and say, "You are my best friend. I need you. I love you." But many little boys are shamed and afraid to show their feelings for each other. Fag or hoto are words that little boys learn to fear. Many teenage boys fear people will think they're gay if they show affection to other boys. Many men let their guard down in public if they're boozing together or are in a bus depot or an airport saying hi or goodbye, or if they score a touchdown or make a basket. They may give a pat on the ass of their male buddy or a hug. One of the reasons many men love playing sports, they can touch other men's bodies in public and not be put down for it. Many men sadly cannot admit this, even to themselves. Men, do you tell your men friends your sadness, your loneliness? Do you express tenderness? Men can be as sensitive, can be as warm and open as women, no question. Men do not have to spend their whole lives bluffing to each other. Sadly, many men just shoot the breeze with each other, talking business, sports, women, politics. Many men are damn allergic to going deep and personal with other men. Many older men become emotional vegetables when their wives die. Why? They depended on their wives to connect deeply with family and friends. Some men, including many younger men, are waking up and changing, finding freedom. I remember my friend Michael, dear friend, the oldest son of a large Catholic family in Iowa. Michael ran a natural food store where I stopped many times when I drove my dad's truck through Michael's town. Michael was dark, lean, very attractive. He was a runner. He had sex with several women. I was strongly attracted to Michael, and he knew it. And one morning, he phoned me when I was back there in Illinois. He told me he wanted to experience sex with a man. So he drove 70 miles one way that day to our farm. He and I went upstairs to my room. He lay down beside me for a moment, and then he got up. He could not do it. He could not have sex with me. He was chained by shame and guilt about sex with men. Michael and I stayed friends for many, many years, but he and I never had sex. He later suffered serious health problems. He stopped having sex with women for years before he died. He died alone in his apartment in Albuquerque. Very sad. He had moved to Albuquerque. Why? Because of knowing me. If it were not for the heavy shame and guilt millions of men feel about having sex with men, shame and guilt from family, from buddies, from religion, most, if not all, men would enjoy sex and romance with at least one man in their lives, even if they are strongly attracted to their wives or girlfriends and greatly enjoy sex and romance with those women. Sex between men would become at least as popular with millions of men as baseball, basketball, or any sport. I lived for a year in a small town near Phoenix, just before I moved to Albuquerque in 1970. And one of my many Chicano friends in that small town was Manuel, a teenager. And years later, he was my only Arizona friend to visit my parents and me on the farm in Illinois. And a few years later, Manuel's sister and her boyfriend visited me here in Albuquerque. And I told them, his sister and her boyfriend, I told them I am gay. But I had never told Manuel. His sister told Manuel I'm gay, and he became very upset. I think partly because I had told his sister before I told him. He wanted to be close friends with me. And Manuel called me long distance. I think he may have been drinking booze before he called me. He said, "How could you do this to my family?" He both condemned me and he praised me in that same phone call. Manuel told me that he and his friends used to go into Phoenix and beat up gay people. So I told him on this phone call about a gay white man I met who had been in the Navy. And I asked this gay white man what it was like being gay in the Navy. And the gay white man said, "Not bad, except there was a married Chicano who picked a fight with him. And later, they both were at the same party, and they got it on. not with fists in a fight, but in hot sex. And the married Chicano went home to his wife, later came back to have more sex with the gay white man. And the gay white man asked the married Chicano why he had picked a fight with him, if he was attracted to him. And the married Chicano answered honestly, I could not let my friends know. And after I told Manuel this story on the phone, Manuel said, maybe I'm gay. It was like something that slipped out before he realized it. And I did not respond to what Manuel said. I don't know if Manuel was gay or bisexual. And sadly, I have not heard from Manuel much, if any, after that phone call over 40 years ago. Never hit kids. I think at least once when I was a young boy, my dad hit me. A hazy memory. And knowing myself as well as I do, I realize if my dad had beaten me many times, as some dads do, I might have ended up in prison or even on death row for committing violent crimes, even murder. If we have hit kids in the past, we need to apologize if we still have contact, no matter if it happened many years ago. Sadly, millions of parents, dads and mothers, hit their sons and daughters. Was the white cop who murdered George Floyd beaten as a kid? Were some or all of the 5 Memphis black cops who murdered Tyre Nichols beaten as kids? Jail, the terribly disturbed 18-year-old white man who murdered my grandparents, was beaten as a kid by his dad. Many men who suffered beatings abused their own bodies as alcoholics or addicts to other drugs. And many men beaten as kids become cruel cops, violent husbands, soldiers, violent street gang members. Hitting kids does not beat the hell out of them. Hitting kids beats the hell deeper into them. Today is mine, tomorrow may not come. I may not see the rising of the sun. When evening falls, my life may all be done. Today is mine, tomorrow may not come. Today is mine to cry and dance and hug, to forgive, ask forgiveness, and make love. Our lives are short. Treasure every close friend. Today is mine, tomorrow may not come. Back on our Illinois farm when I was a teenager, I foolishly was addicted to many violent TV programs. Gunsmoke, Wagon Train, Wyatt Earp, Have Gun Will Travel, Zorro, The Lone Ranger. I foolishly wasted many precious hours watching damn guns and violence. And this is one of the many, many things I would want to change if I had my life to live over, knowing what I know now. I woke up. I stopped watching that violent crap. I changed. And now I would not watch those programs if I were paid thousands of dollars. Why poison my mind? Why waste my time? Over the long run, most refugees and asylum seekers coming to the United States from other nations pay more in taxes here than they receive in government benefits. Would Donald Trump ever admit that? Many of the refugees and asylum seekers come to the United States with little or no money, but they want to find work. They want to find jobs. I enjoy dancing up a storm to beautiful music. I enjoy deep, personal, heart-to-heart conversations. I enjoy gardening for food and flowers. I enjoy hugging men and women, all ages, all sizes, all colors, those people who want warm hugs with me. I enjoy sunbathing naked for hours on cool days, when there are no clouds and no wind. I enjoy speaking clearly from my heart about many different subjects on this program. I enjoy constantly collecting wisdom on how to live, how not to live, in order to live that wisdom and to pass it on to anyone interested. I enjoy making new friends, men and women of all ages, all colors, all sizes. I enjoy keeping my eyes and my heart open to meet men I'm strongly attracted to. I enjoy reading articles and books on living healthy, eating healthy. I enjoy making love, giving and receiving pleasure with men I'm attracted to and who are attracted to me. I want to be as lean, healthy, and sexy as possible at my age of 78, as long as I live. Even if I would never again have affectionate, hot sex with any men. I've owned no suit coat, no sport coat for many years. I reject men's sport coats and suit coats because they hide men's asses. I love to see tight, firm asses on lean, healthy men. And many years ago, my gay Chicano friend, Steve, here in Albuquerque, taught me the great pleasure of having my ass licked by him. And if a lean, healthy man is attracted to me, and if I'm attracted to him, I love to lick his ass. A medical doctor whom I met told me our mouths have more germs than our assholes. Have you ever heard that before? I doubt it. None of us chose the family we were born into. None of us chose the nation we were born into. None of us chose our body, blind or sighted, deaf or hearing, healthy or sickly. None of us chose the color of our skin. No one is born evil, but we're all strongly influenced for good and for evil from birth on. if I had suffered severe abuse as a child like Hitler, if I had suffered being starved for love as a young child and had been taught to worship money and power as Trump was, and if years later millions of people cheered my crazy, hate-filled lies, I might have done Hitler's evils or Trump's evils. Being deeply loved and warmly hugged from birth turn on our conscience to want to live honest, humble, and kind. For hundreds of years, thousands of Christian preachers and priests, Roman Catholic priests, have hammered awful shame and guilt into millions of people about any sex outside of church marriage of one man, one woman, until death. For hundreds of years, thousands of Christian preachers and priests have hammered awful shame and guilt into millions of people about feeling strongly attracted and wanting sex with someone we're not married to, male or female, about pleasuring our own cock or vagina alone in masturbation. For hundreds of years, thousands of Christian preachers and priests have hammered awful shame and guilt into millions of people, saying God, the creator of this massive universe, will send these sexual outlaws to never-ending torture, no pardon, no parole, in hell, if they do not repent and shape up. This kind of religion, whether it be Christianity or any other religion, grabs people by the balls to control them through shame and guilt about sex. Religion castrates millions. Religion castrates millions without using knives. And this kind of religion uses the fear of what happens to us after we die to control us. Christianity or any other religion that controls people through shame and guilt about consensual, affectionate sex, wanted and enjoyed by all people involved. That part of any religion, whatever the brand, is evil. Christianity or any other religion that uses the fear of never-ending torture with no pardon, no parole after we die to control people. That part of any religion is absolutely evil. We each can be rich in some ways, so poor in other ways. My dear mother had a car. She had a house to live in, food to eat, money, lots of stuff. So she was rich in some ways compared with many millions worldwide of hungry people with no home. But my dear mother was desperately poor in health. Her sick body for many years suffered hell, not being able to walk well, not being able to do physical work. She was desperately poor in wanting and needing passionate sex and romance with someone. She starved for many years, as millions do, to be in love and to make love. The health of many people moving to the United States as immigrants often gets worse. Why? Because they eat the processed factory foods, the sugar shit, the McDonald's advertised on television. My longtime friend, a woman from Africa, got diabetes after she moved to the United States. She ate the junk food crap. She saw other people eating around her and advertised on television. But fortunately, later she woke up. She has a garden. She stopped the crap. She now eats much healthier food. Her diabetes is gone. We can change. If a person rich in money and a person poor in money fall in love, often problems come because of the big difference in money. The person rich in money can wonder, would this other person want me if I did not have all this money and stuff? And the person poor in money can wonder, would I be so attracted to this other person if he or she were not rich in money? Am I a leech? Am I a gold digger? Is this person rich in money trying to buy my love? Is this person rich in money trying to make sure I will not leave? I, Don Schrader, enjoy living simply below the U.S. poverty level. If I'm in love with men who have much more money and stuff than I do, they never need worry or wonder if I'm after their money and their stuff. Hell no. I go to bed usually between 9 and 10 in the evening, get up around 6 in the morning. And during the night, I piss about 1.5 quarts. And in the mornings after I get up, if I look in the mirror from the side, my bare belly is almost flat, the way I want it. During the day, I eat 3 or 4 quart jars of blended smoothies containing 18 ingredients: flaxseed, pumpkin seeds, garlic, hot chili pepper, apples, colitas, or alfalfa, or parsley, many herbs. I also eat much whole fruit besides the smoothies, apples, avocados. So during the day, with all the high fiber foods and the water, my belly bulges some. And test yourself. When you get up, look in the mirror at your bare belly from the side. Is your belly bulging big? If it is, and if you want to get rid of the big bulge of your belly, stop eating all processed foods in cans, bottles, boxes, packages. Stop eating everything containing added sugar or artificial sweeteners. Stop eating anything containing wheat or other grains. Bread, macaroni, fry bread, pizza, cake, cookies, noodles, beer. Most wheat these days is not what people ate 100 years ago. Modern wheat has been changed to increase yields, making more money for the farmers. It looks and it tastes the same as wheat 100 years ago, but this modern wheat is very addicting. It's designed to make you want to eat much more of it. It has the very poisonous weed killer Roundup often on it that kills the billions of good critters in our intestines that we need to be healthy. And read the book in our library, Wheat Belly by Dr. William Davis. He's a New York Times best-selling author, Dr. William Davis, Wheat Belly. How this modern wheat makes big bellies on men, on women, and makes people sick in many ways. Stop eating this modern wheat as one important step in having a flat, lean belly. I eat nothing containing wheat or other grain. And I very much thank Mark, Eddie, Travis for helping me many dozens of times at the cameras and the controls for this program. If you see me on the street or anywhere and you want to talk, I love personal questions, and I mean that. I love personal questions. Have you ever heard a friend or a relative or a stranger tell you that and mean it? Well, I love personal questions. And if you enjoy hugs, and if you enjoy hugs with me, I would love to hug you. My fresh piss to your health.
Tell all you love that you love them so, because even if you do, they might not know, and one day we'll all be gone. Taste the wind, don't let it blow on by. Sing songs of love, let the music get you high, and when it's said and done, you'll know the sun will shine on. And when it's said and done, you'll know the sun will shine on. And when it's said and done, you'll know